Shawn Ray here in Columbus, Ohio, just 48 hours before the 27th anniversary of the Arnold Sports Festival with one of the competitors, top competitor, IFBB champion, Europa Pro champion, Justin Compton, former NPC National Heavyweight champion. Justin, you didn't start out as a heavyweight champion at the Nationals. When was your first time and what did you place?
First time at Nationals was in 2011. I was still a heavyweight, and I was kind of at the bottom of the class. I think I finished like 13th.
And I was there at the 2012 where you won your category, but you didn't win the overall. What was that experience like? Because that was a big jump from 2011 to 12.
Yeah, I mean, from 13th to 1st, I wasn't even really worried, I wasn't even thinking overall. I knew there was 2 pro cards given there, and I just wanted to walk home with one of them.
Yeah, well, the majority of the people in the house, Brian Yersky ultimately won that championship. I actually had you winning that contest, but then you jumped into the IFBB fray, and you wound up in Chicago. I believe you were 5th place there?
Yes, 5th at my first pro show at the Chicago Wings of Strength.
And you were moving a little bit slow because you had a lot to fill out. How much weight and size did you put on from the Nationals to that show?
Yeah, I was around between 220 and 224 at Nationals. I was struggling at the top of the heavies. And I think the Chicago Pro, I was right around 230, between 230, 232. And then this past year in Orlando, I was 240, 244. And right now I'm around 250, 255.
And I think it's important that people... 255. It's important that people need to understand how young you are doing this because it's a very rare situation. So you turned pro at how old?
24.
Yeah, 24 years old, and you chose your shows wisely. Even when you got 5th in Chicago Wings of Strength, a lot of people had you in the top 3. So ultimately winning the Europa Pro Championships this past year, what did that do for your confidence?
I didn't get a big head, I didn't jump straight into the Olympia. I wasn't ready to get hammered just yet. I wouldn't say that I would have gotten hammered, but, I want to pick and choose my shows strategically. And I want to make sure when I did do the Olympia that, I want to be up there with the big boys. And I knew I wasn't ready to be, a top 5 Olympia in 2014. So I knew that my best options were to take a full off season, grow what I needed to do, pick up the lagging body parts, and just try to complete my physique and, come to the Arnold this year. I mean, it was really, it was almost like the plan was already set in stone, like it just couldn't get more perfect to do this.
Absolutely. So you had to have a certain amount of patience. What were you working on in the interim? I mean, you win the Nationals, you win the Europa in Orlando. What do you have to go back to the gym and do? It sounds like it's just a maturing factor, but what were you actually working on in the gym during those times?
Just overall, just trying to have a complete physique. I'm not looking to set PRs with, weights, and I'm not looking to hit a certain number on a scale. I'm trying to make my body as complete as possible while just staying aesthetic and, being as big as I can as well.
So, I mean, you're not from the bodybuilding capital of the world out in Kentucky, but you were qualified to compete in last year's Mr. Olympia. Any pressure from people to tell you to get in that show? And what was it like sitting there knowing you could be on that stage and having to wait?
Yeah, everybody wanted me to do the show. Everybody wanted to see me do the show. But the thing is, a lot of people didn't. When I actually sat down and explained them what I just said, that, I need this off season. They're like, oh yeah, I fully understand. They just assume that, when you qualify, you have to do it or you should do it. But, I was thinking longevity of my career, what's going to be best for me, what's best for Justin Compton, like I did what I had to do. And whenever I tell people, that story, they fully understand.
Well, you've been making some very strategic moves. You're now signed with Evogen. You're working with Hani Rambod, I believe it is. And you're 48 hours from the Arnold Classic. You're going up against some heavy hitters. 4-time champion Dexter Jackson's going to be here. Is there any added pressure going into this show by comparison to when you won out in the Europa?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say there's added pressure, because when I went to the Europa, nobody was like, I didn't have the hype, I didn't have, a lot of people supporting, a lot of people following, a lot of people, pulling for me to win. People get to really care less who won that show. So, I mean, you had a few people that was following it, but, the Arnold being a much bigger deal, I can't go anywhere on social media. Everybody's like, oh, Cedric's going to win, or Evan's going to win, Dexter's going to win, so Justin's going to win. So it's a complete toss-up on who's going to be the best man this weekend. So it does put a little bit of pressure on me, but it doesn't change my game plan or my way of thinking. I'm going to be as good as I can be, and that's all I can do. I can't control what anybody else brings to the stage, but, I know that I'm going to be much bigger, much better, much improved, and that was the goal, and I think I've already achieved that.
Well, let's keep it real. You're 48 hours away. I'm assuming you're on low carbs. It's your last major workout. You're probably going to be posing your ass off between now and the time you hit the stage at 2 p.m. on Saturday afternoon. What can actually happen between now and Saturday that's not happening for you right now? I mean, I know there's a few things you have to do. The tanning, obviously, maybe pulling some water. Tell the fans where you're at mentally and physically for this competition.
I've done a lot of shows. I mean, this is like our 13th or 14th show. So, I mean, I pretty much know the drill on what needs to be done. I mean, I don't really do low carbs, Anybody that follows me, my diet, I guess to me they're low carbs. But to normal people, it would fluff them up pretty quickly. So, I still got more carb loading to do. I got to fill out. I'll cut a little bit of water. I'm not going to go nuts with that. I think there's too many voodoo tricks that people try to pull, and it screws them up at the last minute. But, the tanning, I'm actually getting ready to head out of here momentarily and meet up with Marilyn with Liquid Sun Rays, and she's going to, make me look good on that. So I don't really have any worries or anything like that. I feel like I'm in good hands.
Well, if you win this competition this weekend, I think the life that you live now will change dramatically. You'll join the company of four-time champion Dexter Jackson, four-time champion Flex Wheeler, two-time champion Branch Warren and Kai Green, Kevin Levrone. $130,000 prize money. That could change how you look at the sport from a business standpoint overnight, literally. What will that do for you and your lifestyle and your commitment to this game?
I was speaking of people joining. Didn't you win this show at 26?
I did win it, yes.
So at 26, I would also be joining you in that ranks as well. So that would be a really big deal. As far as changing my life, I mean, I'm still going to be the same guy. You're not going to see me blowing money like crazy or trying to be somebody that I'm not. I'm going to think longevity. I'm going to invest this if I win. God given that I win the show. I'm going to invest it properly and, start up, down the road, get myself into some businesses and, set myself up for retirement.
What do you have to say to all those people that at some point in time maybe didn't get on the Justin Compton bandwagon to believe that you could get this high? I mean, you're going to be talking and hearing from Arnold Schwarzenegger in 48 hours. You're going to be rubbing elbows with guys you probably had magazine pictures on your wall. And you're going to be standing on the biggest stage in all of sports. You got 18,000 athletes, over 150,000 fans here in Columbus. It doesn't get much bigger than this. Are you going to take the time to kind of smell the roses along the way to the competition?
I'm trying to just wear my blinders until we actually get there because I don't want any added stress or anxiety, being nervous. I'm just going to do my thing. I'm going to attend the meet and greet. I'm going to shake every hand's fan, tonight, in like a few hours. So, I do encourage, anyone to come out and see us tonight. And then we'll be at the eVision booth for a little while tomorrow, depending on, how my body's feeling, what I'm up for, and it depends on how long I'll actually be there. But, it's going to be an honor. Hopefully I'm the last man up there and I get to shake Arnold's hand and he hands me that big trophy.
Well, give me the logic behind staying covered up because I know when I competed, and it was ages ago, but I've been retired 14 years. I think you weren't even in high school then. But what is the advantage of keeping covered up till showtime? I mean, a lot of artists, they paint their canvases. They got to step back and look at the picture. Bodybuilders, very similar. But in today's economy, a lot of bodybuilders stay covered up until they literally hit the stage. Is it because you want the great unveiling for the fans? You don't want to give it away too soon, or what's the logic?
I don't really believe in that. I mean, I haven't posted any progress pictures or posing pictures, but my videos and stuff online, I'm in tank tops and sleeveless shirts, and you get a general idea where I'm at. I mean, at the end of the day, everybody's going to see you, so what's the big deal about holding out?
Spoken like a true veteran who's only a rookie here in Columbus, Ohio. In 48 short hours, he'll be standing next to some of the bodybuilding greats, including, like you said, Tony Freeman, 47, 48 years old.
Talked to Tony a couple hours ago.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a different level of competition. And, man, we are a long ways from Atlanta where you were winning your pro card back in 2012. That was Atlanta, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Atlanta.
What do you have to say for somebody that wants to be a bodybuilder? I mean, you're living the dream right now. It's about to come true for you in a very short period of time. What advice do you have for the young guys?
I guess the only advice that I could really say is just stay with it, but also have a backup plan because I realize that the shoes that I'm in, I'm very fortunate and very thankful to be where I'm at. I never in a million years would have thought that me and you would be sitting here having this conversation 3 years ago would have been 2012. I never would have thought me and you would be having this conversation at the Arnold. I thought I would just be some little local Kentucky competitor that I made top 3 in the light heavies or the heavies. That's what I thought I would be. And I kept climbing. I kept telling myself, you got more. You can keep doing this. Keep going, push, push, push. So inevitably, you just got to keep going and just maximize your own potential.
Mm-hmm. I can tell you a few short years ago, Steve Bleckman said that you were going to be the guy to watch in several years, and here we are, and that guy's got a great eye for talent. And I told you should have won the overall back then, so I'm not surprised you're where you're at. Your medal will be tested, going up against some very good, legitimate bodybuilders, and should you actually win here in Columbus, Ohio, will we see you on your first Mr. Olympia competition September?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's safe to say that I'll be there.
Well, that's what you're here for. You're here to do the business of trying to win here at the Arnold Classic in the 27th anniversary. I'm here with Justin Compton in Columbus, Ohio. For MuscularDevelopment.com, I'm Shawn Ray.